All right, so you're a newer West Coast swing dancer. You want to stop looking like a beginner so you can feel more confident on the dance floor. Today we're going to give you 5 keys that will help you do that. My name is Brian B.
I'm Miss Megan.
All right, so what's number 1, Miss Megan?
Rolling through your feet and not looking like you got blocks on them.
So what I mean by that is in the beginning, right, we sort of, my coach used to say that I had blocks under my feet, right? And that we're just sort of plunking our feet down. But rolling through your feet basically means that I'm not going to step flat, that if I walk backwards, I'm rolling from my toe to the ball of my foot to the heel. Toe to the ball of my foot to the heel. So we call this tracking your feet. So if I'm sliding my foot back, and I can practice this going forward, if I go, same thing, I can go forward 2 different ways. Heel to toe is one option. I'm going to have Megan talk about the follower's footwork going forward. So going forwards as the follower, rolling through your feet, you have a couple of different options.
Yes, so we can either go heel to toe, which is going to be easier to go through your feet this way. So heel all the way down to your toe. The other option is to go toe to heel. So we're going to start toe and roll down to our heel. Toe, roll down.
It's the same for the leaders
down.
either way. You can't do it the opposite way. So as the
Going
leaders,
backwards, you can't.
as the leaders going forward, right? If I go 1, 2, 3, and I could step on the toe of my foot, right, and roll my weight down through, or I could step on a slight heel lead and roll my weight through. And we're picking our feet up quite a bit so you can see, but it's not that I want to do this. It's just that even if my foot were to be flat on the floor, my weight's moving through my heel into my toe, right? So that's forward and back. If I did it kind of a little sideways drill, our little triple step drill, we could roll, triple step, triple step. So if we do it sideways, maybe even in an anchor step, you'll see that I'm not committing all of my weight to each step, right?
We're not a teeter-totter.
I'm rolling half of my weight, and then slowly through the foot, right? This even gets into a little bit of timing, where it's a half beat, and a whole beat, right? So rolling through your feet are going to help you look more smooth. Speaking of smooth, when we talk about connection, here's one of the things that makes you look like a beginner. If I have big arm movements in my connection, right? Now my hand's going where it's supposed to go, right? I'm leading Megan because I have a slight lead in, a slight lead out. So we want to minimize that. If we head around this way, here's my favorite drill. Once we're connected in our coming out of the anchor step, if I just practice my left side pass, right? My left side pass, and manage the distance with my body. So my body is leading Megan down the slot, not my arm, right? So the left side pass is the easiest one. Now here's one of the ones that we mess up a lot as the beginners. We go prep, prep to lead the turn. It works, right? Because Megan followed it, but it's not ideal. Here's what you need to know about the turn. We don't need both preps. It's not that I sometimes don't lead both preps, but I only need the second prep. The reason why I might even do the first prep is because I got a spaghetti arm here, right? But if I have good connection, right, then you won't even see the first prep, and you might not even see the second prep, right? So Megan works internally. Talk about how you prep yourself.
So followers, when you prep yourself over your foot, you just want to make sure that your whole right side is over that right foot, and when you walk on your left foot, your whole left side is over that foot.
And she feels it because of something we call rotational connection. This is a little bit more advanced for this video, but the slight movement away with my arm, slight movement away, you can barely see it.
Filling out that connection.
She fills out that connection, and then we turn. Now, from the leader's perspective, you're going to go, it doesn't work. It's just with my follower it's my partner's fault. The more that even if Megan spaghetti arms me, right? If I take out all that slack, eventually I'm going to get to the end of something, and then I can do it without spaghetti arms, right? So practice that with your left side pass first, then your inside turn. The other one is sometimes the whip, right? Where I have to bring this diagonally across the slot to turn her. If I do it from the other side for a basic whip, diagonally across the slot and turn her. When I do that, it's the same thing. If I don't have connection, I'll take my footwork out of it. If I don't have connection, I'm like, my hand goes here and it turns around, right? If I have connection with my body weight moving backwards, right, I already have connection on that first step. And if I don't have it, I'll just keep pulling until I have it, right? So you won't even see it. I'll just pull, and then I have connection when I make the second movement to the whip, right? If I took my footwork out of it, I'm kind of moving the hand slightly across. I have connection, right? From two things. Number one, Megan has rolled through her feet and given me an opportunity to stay connected, right? And then when I pull the hand back, boom, she turns. Cool? So that's your second key. The third one is to know your
patterns.
So my drill, and Megan can give me something on this, but I will often with my students make them do a sugar push, a right side pass, and a whip all by yourself, right? 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is going to be do two things. If you can do a sugar push, right side pass, and a whip without touching, with music on, right? So what this tells us is that I can functionally dance 3 of my basic patterns, right? Push, pass, whip, to my own footwork to music. Because if you can't do that, I find this often happens with beginners. You get used to this power that the leader gives you, and you end up making 2 biggest steps on your own, and that way you become heavy in the connection, look like a beginner, right? So if you can dance push, pass, and a whip to a whole song all by yourself, you're well on your way. That's key number 3, which leads us to key number 4, which is if we have trouble dancing a push, pass, and whip to music, it's likely because our steps are too big, and it's tough to cover the distance. So
a lot of work too.
A lot of work. So we want to. Megan doesn't like
lazy.
to. Megan likes to be lazy. So we want to have smaller, precise footwork. Smaller, precise footwork. Here's how we can practice that. I'm going to do my part first. Megan's going to do her part. So when I do the right side pass, 1, I come backwards and out of the slot. I don't just clunk this foot down. I actually trace it and step it down. Then as I turn the corner, I step slightly and I spin this foot. So I'm never really losing contact with the floor as I turn around and do my anchor step. If I do it one more time, 1, 2, very precise and small, 3, and same movement of my foot, 4, small anchor step, and I can roll away. Megan's got the same thing in the right side pass.
Yeah, so followers, we are going to take 2 small steps forward. So we have forward, forward. Now we're going to take a small side step. Try to stay up off of your heel, and it's going to help you pull this foot in. And like Brian said, you're going to leave your foot on the floor as you move that foot in, step back, triple step.
And you'll also notice that. Go do that again and stop on count 4 for me.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
And if you freeze there, notice if I do this with big footwork, right? I'm going to cover over here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? If I take too big a step, if you notice a couple different things, my feet look a little funny, and I can't get my weight over that foot, I'm going to fall into my next step. So kind of going back to number 1, if we practice doing this and rolling through the feet, you'll see that once I commit my weight, I have 100% of my weight. If I'm not thinking about that, boom. Now you can see that I'm stuck between my feet and I'm falling and I'm dancing like Frankenstein. There's a line dance that does that.
There is. Jumanji.
That's
great.
it. Right? So the final thing, the 5th tip that will help put this together, especially when you're new and you start to social dance, is social dance with a focus, right? Because you're going to have all these things, maybe all 4 of these, the rolling through the feet, the no spaghetti arms. Pick one and social dance with a purpose, right? So I'm going to say,
you can't think about it all at the same time.
I'm not worried about Megan. I don't even have good connection. I'm just thinking about precise footwork, right? Just small, precise footwork. That's all I'm thinking about. My whole goal tonight is just small, precise footwork. I'm not worried about the patterns. I'm not worried about the connection, right? Same thing from the follower standpoint. What could you think about social dancing, Megan?
Something that we didn't necessarily cover, but making sure that I'm connected to myself.
Oh, there you go. So, kind of going to this connection, the no spaghetti arms. Explain connected to yourself.
So these muscles from your back of your arm down to your side, you want to make sure that you have some connection to your core. That is just a little bit of tension in those muscles. That way you do not get drug all over the place like this and your body doesn't follow.
I hopefully will link this up. There's the complete guided connection. We did a 20-minute video on everything connection. And one of the things that we did in that video is I put a purse right here, chink, or a small bag, right? So that helps just create the tension between us and then off to the races. So whichever thing you're thinking about focusing on, you want to take that one thing and go out that night and just focus on that, right? Even when you're learning new patterns, don't learn a bunch of them. Just focus on leading that one pattern effectively across a bunch of different followers. Then you can take another one and put, and don't worry, leaders, I know you have this fear that the followers are going to be bored.
Nah.
Not true. It's not true. I had that fear when I was new. They would rather dance easy basics with someone who's good and on time and clear than they would get
We don't
drugged
like
through.
to be drug around.
They do not like to get drug around, right? So if we level up this stuff, we roll through the feet so we're nice and smooth, right? We're leading without spaghetti arms, so everything's nice and tight. I know my patterns because the music is still on and I could dance my patterns all by myself, right? I can even fancily lead stuff with my body language, right? So I can dance my patterns. Then we have small, precise footwork. So where it's easier to stay on time. That's another struggle for beginners, is staying on time and that small, precise footwork. And I'm focusing on those things when I'm social dancing. You're well on your way to becoming a confident, good-looking social dancer. All right, if you're serious about leveling up your dancing, the best thing we've ever created is our full access membership over on westcoastswingonline.com. Head over there, enter your email address. You'll be signed up for our free move of the week. We have a full content library, everything from beginner to pro level moves, and it's not only West Coast Swing, there's like 18 different social dances there. Check that out. And also, as promised, is this video on connection. So if you want to really understand connection for West Coast Swing, this is the video for you.